Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the play's the thing. With your host, Judy Sleeve. Special guest, Timo Stein, international cosmologist. Now here's Judy.
Oh, thank you. That was lovely. Hi, Timo.
Hi.
It's so nice to have you here. It's been a long time since I was conversing with such a handsome young man.
Thank you very much.
And you are a cosmologist, not a cosmetologist. It's two different...
Yeah, I know. I'm not looking like those guys right at the blackboard and only drinking the tea and everything. Yeah.
So you are a very serious young man. I'm just saying that because you are dealing with such serious subject. You are still in school, right?
Yes, I'm still in high school, actually. What I do is just trying to understand fundamental questions anybody would ask. And I just specified my field in the cosmology.
And you must be enjoying it.
Yes, I do actually. Usually you would think in school like physics, that's boring. You just do that because you have to do that. But if you find your joy in doing it, it's something special.
Right, just like when you work, when you go to work. If you enjoy it, it's much better when you don't. And you say you are a cosmic microwave background radiation. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's right. The abbreviation is CMB, Cosmic Microwave Background Radiation. What is, well, someone might think it's something like a microwave where you can prepare your food, but it's actually the echo of the Big Bang, what we are seeing it. It's the first moment in which light was able to escape from space and the whole space became transparent, which enables us to talk to each other and see each other, for example. Before that time, the CMB was created, you weren't able to see. Just besides the problem of having like 3,000 degrees centigrade, which is not very, very good, not enjoyable.
So you're going to school abroad. You're not going to school here. You just come and visit your dad.
Yeah.
And so you're learning all this in your native tongue.
Actually, I'm doing more in English because all the publications, all scientific work nowadays is done in English. But I'm coming from Germany, from Berlin. So that's the place where I go to school.
Deutsch?
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch, ja.
That's the only thing I remember from my school days.
Well, it's not bad. Sounds very good.
Sounds good, yeah. And so what made you get interested in this?
It's actually a very long journey who brought me to this place here, for example, or in the research I'm doing right now on the cosmic microwave background radiation. I started actually in the age of 10. And not with cosmology in the first place, but as anybody does, you look up the sky and you see the stars and you just think how beautiful it is. And then you ask, what's out there?
Yes.
A few hundred kilometers away, our Earth, suddenly you realize that the Earth is just a very small place in the universe. And you want to know what's going on out there. And you try to understand it. And the science who is doing work on that is the astronomy and the astrophysics. And so I actually started in the solar system, so pretty close. And I learned over the years to go farther and farther away.
Yeah.
So you start with planets, and so-called minor planets, which are like asteroids, them from movies, which might hit the Earth. They have a size of a few hundred kilometers, for example, of solid rock. And then you go to different planets like Jupiter, Saturn. And then you realize, okay, but what you can see up there, all the dots, they are stars, and they are several light years away. And these are huge clouds of gas, compacted and heated up, so they start to
shine.
Yeah, to shine and create light. But then you realize you have a vast number of stars out there, and you see they form a group. And if you collect a number of those collected stars, they form a galaxy. Then you realize, if you go farther away, millions of light years, you see that those galaxies have clusters. They cluster, we have a number of like 20 or 30 galaxies, like, the Andromeda galaxy, which is 2 million light years away. That's the next place, with a few hundred millions of other stars, like our sun, with planets and so on. But then you realize even that is too small in respect to the whole universe, because the universe itself is so big, you can't understand it. It's like unbelievable for the human mind. It's
to understand that, yeah.
But then you see, if you go farther away, you see in the history of a universe. So if you go farther away, you see the universe as it was younger, much more younger than nowadays. And if you go far enough, that means 13.7 billion light years away, you see a very, very small, very low brightness noise covering like all the universe. And this is a CMB. That's because you have to think of it, the universe, like a balloon from this point on, because you have to think yourself, you're in the center of this balloon, and you're looking at its wall, painted like, let's say, in red. And that's the CMB, what we can see, actually. CMB, what I do.
What is that?
That's the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Oh, I see.
It was emitted, as I said, in the very, very early stage of the universe. The universe was just about 400,000 years old, as compared to the current age of nearly 14 billion years, nothing. That's like a child which was just born. At the time, there were no stars, no galaxies, no human beings, not even the Earth existed, because the elements of which we are made of doesn't exist. They had to be created in stars, which are now death, for example. Stars were born and die as well, like we human beings.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do. But we can't realize, because a lifespan of a human being is just too small.
It's very difficult to fathom all these things for general people. And people like you, that you're really interested, you're really studying this. And, well, I'm sure a lot of people will be interested listening to this, because not many people do this in everyday life. And I read something recently about, they said that there's a black hole. They discovered a black hole in space.
Okay, black holes. To those among us who have seen Star Trek or similar, this term is very familiar. For the average person, a black hole, cool, what is that? I mean, black hole is very interesting, for example, because it's not just one. You said there's one discovered, but there are millions out there, for example, but we can't see. That's why they are called black holes, for example. Oh. You have to think of it, if you have our Earth, and it's a huge planet for a human being, but if you compress the whole mass of the Earth in just the size of an atom, mm-hmm. It finally collapses. Einstein's theory of general relativity predicts that space, if the density, that means if you put too much mass in too little space, it will collapse, because it just collapses into a black hole. And that's what we find in the universe, millions of light years away. And if we have 2 seconds at a big black hole, and it's collecting material from its area, and it transfers the mass of it, E times mc squared, Einstein's very famous equation, directly into energy. At this point, are very efficient. So if you would get like 2 seconds at a black hole, all our energy problems would have been solved, for example. And you mentioned for most of us, astronomy, astrophysics is something very unusual, but it is not, because we should understand not only to deal with problems on Earth. I said earlier, the Earth is just a very small spot in the universe. Even the sun, even our galaxy is compared to everything else in the universe just small. I know that many people have to deal with it's enough to deal with problems here on Earth, in terms of financial crisis and political crisis and so on.
Yeah.
But they should take at least 5 minutes a day and just think and look up at the sky and just see the sun, for example, or at nighttime they should see and look to the stars and just think about it a moment. What's out there?
Yeah, it scares me.
It should not. It's kind of overwhelming, but when you start thinking of it, it's very interesting because you learn, for example, we are created in the center of stars, for example. We are just the remains of former stars because if they wouldn't have existed, we weren't here, For example, this table here, it's made of mostly carbon, as created in stars, for example. Copper, what I just said, also created in stars. Up to uranium, the last stable element. Everything was created not in a Big Bang in the first place. There was just hydrogen, helium as gas, and a little bit of lithium, but nothing else. The rest was created later on.
Wow. You sound like you got a letter to know what they did. I wanted to ask you about do you feel that we humans could damage this Earth, the planet Earth?
Surely we can, but human beings existed for a few 100,000 years on this planet. And we can destroy our environment. But the Earth will recover. We might not recover, but that's our fault if we do that.
That's what I say. We could only ruin our environment, but not the whole Earth. I mean, this Earth is really vast, and there are regions there where there's no things there that could, ruin things.
Oh, well, there certainly are. If you do the astronomy more in detail, you find out that even a star, as I said earlier, dies. And the same things will happen to our sun, unfortunately, in about 5 billion years. So even if we do survive, like asteroids, impacts, whatever, eventually everything comes to an end, unfortunately, in about 5 billion years, yeah. But we have a waste
number. So do you worry now?
Oh yeah, you should prepare your luggage and your suitcases, and we should leave. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Can we go to the moon?
It doesn't help. It doesn't help, unfortunately, because the sun will expand a factor of more than 1,000. And
they're selling parcels to the moon.
Yes, they do. It's a good business, but
It's a business.
Yeah, but it's also, I don't know whether the prices for real estate on the moon will still increase in terms of the financial crisis, because there might not be enough demand left,
There's more of a chance to live on Mars than the moon.
Doesn't help either, because if you don't have like a light bulb, like our sun, you can't read, you can't live. After the sun dies, there will be no light, no heat. Everything
so Mars
is gone.
Doesn't have the sun?
No, you have to leave the entire solar system in that
Mars
case.
doesn't, it's so close, it seems like, the sun shines on all the planets.
Yes, they do, certainly. But if the sun is gone,
It's not going anywhere yet.
Not yet, no. And we will not know it for about 8 minutes, because that's the time it takes from the sun to reach, for example, the Earth. So even if the sun just switches off, for example, we will notice it in about 8 minutes from now.
Yeah, it's too bad I don't have a light switch.
No, unfortunately, yes.
Oh, this is all very, very fascinating. So this is your this is what you study, and you get probably good grades, right?
School, yeah, school is a different topic. I don't really like school because it's to me not boring, but it's, I don't know. I would like to focus on the science, you know, or doing my hobbies like photography or music, or just traveling, meeting people like you. It's much more fun to do than just sitting in school, but it's necessary in order to get to university, in order to become a real physicist later on. So,
right. So are you doing your own research on something now?
something is good, yeah. Besides high school, I work in an institute in Berlin, but this has not really to do with astrophysics. It's so-called neutron diffraction. So you know neutrons. You have protons and neutrons, and they form atomic nuclei.
I've heard of them.
And if you do study some parts of quantum mechanics, you see that a particle is not a particle like you have a billiard, you know, but it's a wave, you know, like water waves. And so you can use neutrons like light and study something, like this table, for example, or something else, a probe, a crystal, whatever. And that's very interesting to do. And besides that, I get a laboratory there to do my own research. So that's quite good. And I traveled a lot and worked a lot in the UK, for example, and I'm going to work here in the States on a research project. So.
Wow. And you mentioned that you play an instrument.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
flute.
A flute.
The flute, yeah.
Yes. You've been studying long?
The flute? Yeah, about 3 years, yes. Quite long, yeah.
Do you have your own orchestra?
No, mostly for myself. No.
For yourself. You probably play classical tunes?
Yes, more classical. Although there is one guy I've seen on YouTube, he's doing a very modern art on the flute, which is very impressive, but never mind.
Yeah, and photography you mentioned.
Yes. I love the Hamptons because there's so much opportunities to take pictures of the landscape, of people. It's just amazing, whether it's daytime, nighttime, whether it's cloud covered or not. It's always fun to take pictures here. You always find something, so it's quite impressive.
And what do you do with the pictures that you take?
Well, so some of them nowadays you have it all digitals and not on the film, so it's all on your hard drive. But those I like the most. I print and just have them in my room or give them to friends.
Oh,
so.
I thought maybe you'd go into business with it.
Business, I know. If you would pay me for the pictures.
Of course they would. I mean, there's a lot of artists here who some of them take photographs. I mean, they're skilled in that. And they have art shows and they sell their stuff. You'd be surprised what people buy here.
Yeah.
You must prepare that next time you come here. You should come with all these
my
pictures.
Photo collection.
Yes.
The Hamptons impression, yeah.
And you could also take pictures overseas and all that and enjoy it. Why not try to sell it? Of course, some people don't like to sell their stuff. They just
it's just the love to photography. That's for me in the first place, just to take the opportunity to take pictures.
I'm just making suggestions, you know.
Thank you very much.
So, are you an only child in a family?
No, I'm actually having one brother and one sister and 3 brothers. So we are a big family.
Are you the youngest?
No, the oldest, actually.
You're the oldest?
Yes, and the last one are twins, identical twins. So
wow. Do you see them often?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
They are back in Berlin, so.
Do they share the same interests as you?
That's the question I got asked very often, because anybody thinks, well, this guy's doing physics, he's like a freak, and his family can't be better. Anybody's like physicist. No, they are not.
No.
My brother is doing journalism. He's very interested in politics, journalism. A bit lazy, but never mind. My younger sister, she's doing music. She plays like 5 instruments and singing very good and dancing.
Well, she must be quite young because you're so young.
Yes, she's now 13. So, and the youngest one, the twins. Yeah, the youngest one, are doing the most similar thing to my topics. They're interested in robots nowadays. So, you know, those robot kits you can write your own programs on, and they do some neat stuff nowadays. You can
on the computer.
Yes.
Yes, I'm still not very good at the computer. It frustrates me. You'll have to come and teach me.
Okay. It's not that difficult.
Well, for you, maybe.
Yeah, well, okay, go. Yeah,
Yes.
That's a good point, yeah. I got my first one with 7? Yeah, 7 years, so.
You were 7 when you first? Wow.
Got my own PC, yeah.
Well,
Windows
I was
98.
77. No, I'm only kidding. So, getting back to your family, I'm just wondering where you acquired this talent for this. Anybody in your family is a physicist?
No, all from the business. So,
No.
I know, I'm different. I'm just different. I was reading in my early days. I was not reading very much. I still don't read, unfortunately, that much. Although I like literature, especially English literature, like Shakespeare, the classical. Although it's quite hard to understand, but it's very much fun if you do understand it then, and very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Or The Great Gatsby, you know that. Of
Oh
course.
yes, I
It's
remember
very
they Alan Ladd made a picture. He was the star, and at that time, I was in love with him. Would you say that Einstein was your idol?
No. I mean, he was definitely a great physicist, and he was, for his time, he was very, very advanced in everything, you know. But if you do read his biography, you see he had very personal issues, and he was okay with people, but not that good, you know. And for me, it's more, you might not have heard about the name, but Richard Feynman. He is a very famous physicist who died in the 80s. He got a Nobel Prize. He was doing some quantum mechanics. But he was a cool guy. He was driving the Volkswagen and this hippie bus. You know what I mean? The old one, the hippie bus, during the 68s.
Oh.
I don't know the model name, but he was just a cool guy. He was painting. He was also into arts. And so he's very... And he got a very good sense of humor. For example, he worked for the Manhattan Project and had always a joke. You know, he was a very funny guy, a stand-up comedian.
Well, I had a lady here, my guest, who had written a book about Einstein because she met him, and her father and Einstein were friends when Einstein spent the summer here, one summer. Mm-hmm. And it was just quite interesting how she speaks about him, how he lived just day to day and not as a scientist.
I think Einstein was a very interesting personality, but he's not an idol for me.
Oh, well, he was. I mean, he was very eccentric.
Yeah.
He didn't... even when he became famous, had a lot of money, he still remained the same as before.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
And he was, okay, that's what I have to give him credit for is he was also accepting work of others, of especially young researchers, which I have to stress because I'm very thankful that, although I'm so young and I do the physics of those projects, experts accept me, you know, they not even accept me, but they discuss my results and they collaborate. You know, I work with those guys. And I'm very thankful. And Einstein was one of this type of man, I think, as far as I know, who was also accepting young researchers with new ideas.
Oh.
And it was even inspiring. And then also know scientists who have problems with young people into science because they have the title of being a professor, but they are different. You know?
They have no patience.
Yes.
To be a teacher, you have to be very patient. And you have to give your knowledge in a certain way that your student would understand, because not everybody is the same. Everybody has like a different understanding. So if you tell them what to do one way, and if it's not doesn't work, they don't get it, then you have to tell them another way. So that's what a good teacher does.
Yeah, and I think it's also very important to help young people, encourage young people to do something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a science, or through, I have to promote science here, of course, as the best topic in the world, do physics, get a Nobel Prize, and help mankind understanding the universe.
Yes.
But it's very, very important to encourage young people, to do something. And
it is.
And that's what I got a lot, I got a lot of support and people who accepted me as being young and still trying to do something new, and they encouraged me to do that. And that enables me to do all this research, what I'm doing right now, or the internships or traveling a lot.
Well, I'm sure they were also very happy to find you, that they could teach you. Well, we have maybe 1 minute. I don't know what we could do. We cannot discuss any big topics. You want to sing something?
We could. No. We can have a short story on the universe, for example. The book by Stephen Hawking, a short story of the universe. No, where he's describing. He was able to put in 200 or 300 pages the whole universe, the story of the universe since the Big Bang, how he thinks it is. It's a very good book. I can recommend it to read it.
What's the name of it again?
A short story of the universe.
Short story of the universe. Yeah. Okay, everybody who's watching, go buy that book. My young friend recommends it, and I'm sure it's good. Well, I'm so happy you were able to come here all the way from Germany.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me. And don't forget to look into the stars.
Yes.
Don't forget and ask the question, what's out there?
Because it's very vital to know what's up there.
Yes.
That's part of us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. You want to wave to everybody? Bye.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we are done.